Okay, so if you guys didn't know, yesterday there was a shooting and I wanted to talk about it, but then there was no information for me to give a good, breakdown of this thing or discuss it. And obviously, the church people wanted to run off and spew out all this garbage. And I'm just sitting here going, we don't even know who the person is, if they had a relation to the person they shot or nothing. And it was so crazy because beyond yesterday, me putting something up, YouTube wants to sit there and just shut off my comments for like no frick reason. I don't know if it's like an inner, I doubt it's an inner glitch. It was so bizarre. I kept like putting it back on, putting it back on, putting it back on, and it would just shut the comment thing off. Did anybody else have this problem? I don't know. If it's doing it, you guys can't even say anything. I mean, how ridiculous is that? So I can't like respond or, this is just stupid crap going on. And apparently the word garbage is a bad word. Yeah, I feel bad for the band. Of course it's a female band, female fronted. So that's gotta be a bad word. Okay. Here's what investigators were looking for at Lakewood Church shooter's home. This is so bizarre, but it started to make sense when I'm reading the story about it, because I was like, the last thing you want is all this kind of garbage, but it's kind of religion based. Okay, so we all know religion, everything about religion is atrocious, and it's a big problem, right? There's a reason for that. Okay, so
also executed a search warrant at the Conroe home where
weren't even on. Okay, okay, so she was killed by these off-duty guys that were hanging out there, I guess, at the church. Fired an AR-15. They said it was like some type of long rifle thing, so I don't know if that's what they're meaning or what. They made it sound... See, that's why you have to wait for all the information, because there was just so much out, but then there was like nothing. Oh, so here's what happened. So I was on Reddit, and I was trying to see if anybody knew anything about it, because, they'll post stuff if they know it. And anyway, nobody knew anything. And I was just saying, I go, yeah, she used her kid as like a human shield. I go, unfortunately, there's just some people that, I said, there's a lot of people that don't even like their kids. Okay. That was the comment, right? It's no person specific or anything. And this guy literally like flipped out. And he's like, you're a dork. He tried to call me a name and he used a different term for it. And then says like, I'm an idiot, basically, if I think that something about everybody being like that. And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, oh, you must have felt convicted. I was like, did somebody tell you that you were one of them? I don't know. It was freaking crazy. So, yeah, so she used her kid, probably as this, like, human shield. I mean, obviously she don't care about her kid doing that kind of crap. So she's just, like, probably like, oh, nobody's gonna shoot me because I got my kid, and even if they do, well, we're all going, It's that thing. I was like, oh my God. Like, she's, like, suicidal, right? Like, the mindset of that. But I didn't know why, because you'll see something. I was saying in the comments there, I was like, you will see stuff like that in situations like domestic things where, like there's a kid, custody battle. You might see it in a divorce thing. And I was like, the guy was like 57 that they shot. And I was like, well, maybe that was her dad or father-in-law. Do we know anything? We don't know anything to make a comment on this. I'm like, I don't know the mindset of the person. Then they're like, it's some atheist and it's some liberal. They started doing this crap. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try to wait. Like I did I'm like a preliminary like clip, but then I was like, I just want to wait because you can't like really talk about the topic unless why. But this is what it said. It said a sticker on the rifle said Palestine. Palestine, whatever this thing. Okay. So then you start getting a bigger picture. Then it goes, so she's like 36, and the child who was shot was her 7-year-old son. She was holding a 7-year-old son, or the son was just standing there? I mean, that's a kind of a big kid to be or so maybe he was standing with her. It would mean that he was standing with her. Wait, okay, so they were wearing a trench coat. Okay, so I read that part and I was like, trench coat. I'm like, oh God, are we trying to like relive 99? Like, what is this? Then they had a backpack, and then she threatened a security guard with an AR-15 before entering with the child. Okay, so she threatened the security guard, but she didn't shoot the security guard, which is rather interesting, right? I don't know. It's a little weird. So then it says, then she immediately opened fire in the west side hallway and then got into a shootout with two law enforcement officers working security at the church. Now, on one of the clips that I was watching, they had this guy talking, and then you hear three shots, right? Like three. It was like bang, bang, bang. That was it. And there was a silence, and then all of a sudden you hear bang. And I'm like, okay, it didn't sound like somebody, it actually didn't sound like somebody was spraying the place. It sounded like somebody, I don't know, it was really bizarre. I was like, was there more shots and the clip cut off? Because apparently the guy said don't run. I was like, did he really say that? That's awful if he did. It was a Spanish station that was, I guess they were taping the church thing and they were doing commentary or something. It was weird. And then during the gun battle, the little boy was shot in the head and he was still in critical condition and fighting for his life when we checked on him Monday. The 57-year-old man, an innocent bystander, was also shot in the leg and he's been released from the hospital. Oh boy, she's a hot mess, dude. Oh my god. Holy cow. Okay, I mean, doesn't that give you guys a bit better picture of this? Like, it's like, look at her. She's just a horrible nightmare. Is she like a meth head? Like, I don't know. I have questions, dude. Look at her. She look like she's been up for about, I don't know, like 10 years. Black eyes going on, unhealthy, and unkept, weird. Okay, let's see what she got in trouble for before. Okay, so it says this. It says they're still working to determine how they got the weapon since she had a long rap sheet and a mental health history. Yeah. That one. What's the rap sheet though? Is it like meth? Because I swear to God, it looks like, it's like, the girl got busted for meth. Like, totally doesn't it look like that? I was like, what the hell? Okay, so this is, we're working to learn all this stuff. And, how did she have a kid, though? Can you guys explain to me? Wait, during the news conference, they said they had a Palestine sticker on her AR-15, and they also found anti-Semitic writings that also be linked to her ex-husband's family. That might also be linked to her ex-husband's family. Oh boy, wait a minute. We have uncovered some items. We do have some anti-Semitic writings that we have uncovered during the process. We do believe there was a dispute with her ex-husband and her family, and some of them are Jewish. Moreno had a long history dating back from 2005 that includes arrest for assault, causing bodily injury. Oh, yeah, okay. So we have violent female. Forgery, possession of pot. Pot ain't doing this look, okay? I don't know what the heck. But, theft, evading arrest, unlawful carrying of weapon. Okay, she's like a major drug addict, okay? Because, I mean, look. Let me see something. Already, 2005. Let me do some math here. Holy cow. Okay, she looks relatively healthy here, right? You guys look at her. I mean, not, she may be like a sociopath, like that whole thing, but I mean, her face is clear. She doesn't have those black eyes and shit. You see that? 2005. Let me do some math. I need to do some math because I need to figure something out. I was like, she's born in that time period. So I was like, okay, so she was like around 19 right here. Okay, so she's already, okay, yeah. I mean, she probably would have got busted earlier, and maybe she got in trouble in school, right? Like, if you went back into the history, this is what I was talking about, because she's violent, right? So it's typically, when the men are all violent and stuff, they start showing up in, like, junior high and high school. This girl could have been, like, one of those bully girls, and then, like, you know nothing about it, right? Because they didn't really bust any of them, or if they did get busted, you don't know about it because they were minors, so you didn't hear anything about it, and you should hear about it, and we should all know about it type of thing. Okay, that thing right there. So she's 19, right? So a couple years later, she get busted again. She looked mean as hell, dude. She looked like some people. She looked like some people here. Stone cold, right? She don't look okay, right? Look at all her pictures. She ain't even happy. Okay, there's not even a. She's not even smiling like the typical socio dude. She's stone cold. This one here, that's scary. This one, she's just sad and pathetic. I don't know what happened. So she got arrested the year before, then months later. Then this one here, she looks quite arrogant. Okay, so yeah, not too long later, and then this one is just like hot mess, you know what I mean? It's just like that train is crashing like right now. Here's the question though. How did she have a kid with her being like this? Can somebody answer me this? Some woman like this, you think should have custody of a kid? Nobody even cares about that. They're like, how did she get a gun? I'm sitting here going, how did she have this kid? Because my friend, like I'm telling you, my friend was nowhere near looking like this. Okay, she did have some problems, and she had to lose her kid because she had some problems. You know what I mean? And so, but she was sweet as hell. It wasn't like I'm getting busted for assault and this crap and that crap. And the kid got taken away. Okay, so can you explain how this thing looking like this has custody of a kid or even had a kid around her? Because like can we talk about that? Because this poor kid is, I can't, I can't, they got shot in the head. So that's not going to be good. I know everybody wants to blame the mom too for it, but cops are known to just shoot whatever and then just will answer questions later. I don't know how this situation was set up. It's terrible. All of it. She shouldn't have been able to have a kid. I mean, really, and they were just, she's not sane. I go, some people don't like their kids. She didn't care. That's a sad thing about it. It's like the poor kid's the innocent one in this, right? How come nobody saved the kid? Yeah, we're all these people, save the kid, save the kid. They never save him, right? It's just like you let this psychotic run around with that kid. That kid was not going to come out okay. I don't know what's going to happen with that kid right now. It doesn't sound good. If they're still in critical condition from a shot to the head, it's not. There's going to be problems. But, but, could somebody explain this? How did she have a kid like this? Man, okay, so it's a homicide. Okay, she was put under emergency detention in 2016, the same year her son was born. We do believe that she does have a mental health history that is documented through us and through interviews and family members. Okay, despite the mental health issues and criminal background, they were able to buy an AR-15 in December, and she was also armed with a 22 caliber rifle, but she didn't fire it. Okay, they don't even care how she had the kid. I don't know, like nobody cares. She's like massively mentally ill, and she's running around with the kid. That's what I'm saying. I go, their focus on things are so insane. So, okay, let's say you banned her from getting a gun. Okay, now she's psychotic, has a kid, and that kid's going to be just as psychotic, if not worse, than mommy here. And where mommy's going to accidentally kill him. You know what I mean? There's going to be mom's going to kill him. Unstable, right? Not once do they question this. Do you see that? That's insane. That's insane. No way. Okay, so then it said they use multiple aliases. Jeffrey Escalante? She's going by a name Jeffrey? They haven't found any evidence that she identified as anything but female. Yeah, so I guess she used a man's name, but then, you know. Well, I guess it could be like me because I'll go by all kinds of different names. It's like I identify as a female. So, but I'm not doing criminal stuff. Like she probably did that just for criminal sake. Maybe that name right there she was able to obtain. She may, because they said theft, right? So they said theft and yeah, so maybe she got somebody else's information and was using it to try to obtain stuff. They believe that she's a lone wolf who acted alone. Okay, so she mentioned she had a bomb. Okay, so if you take away that gun and she does get a bomb, you know what I mean? The whole story about it. That's why I was like, what are you gonna stop this thing? She should have probably stayed locked up in that frickin' thing. Okay, so substance consistent with the manufacture of explosives. She had a yellow rope. which appeared to be a detonation cord. And the chief said bomb squad searched the church and then found no evidence of explosive. The team tested it and determined it was a common product that posed no threat to anyone at the church or surrounding area. So it was just kind of a, like, just a scare people tactic thing. Because they said she sprayed something all over the place, and they said there's no risk of exposure to any chemical or product that may have been present to anybody that was at the facility. What did she spray though? It just sounds whack. It just sounded mental. It sounded mental when they were talking about. They're like, she just sprayed something all over the ground, and then did this thing, and I'm like, I don't even know what the hell's going on here. I was like, don't blame atheists for that shit. I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. Like the story, like when they were giving us, like woman in a trench coat spraying things on the ground and having a kid, like, I'm thinking of all different things. I'm like, maybe she went to the church and maybe her and her man are getting into it, in a custody battle and she's suicide. I'm thinking these type of things. It's just it's a whack job. I was like, it's a whack job who's anti-Semitic, but they're at a church, so it's not like they went to a synagogue. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like it's a nonsensical act, like a bizarre thing. Maybe the whole thought was I want to get killed at a church and I have no idea. How can you answer this one? Yeah, like it's just it's a mentally ill woman that was suicidal, I guess, and then thought maybe she has. Okay, so this one, maybe she have other things that are going on. Like maybe she's schizophrenic, dude. Like that crap is like, I don't know. It went somewhere else. She don't look right. She don't look right at all. She don't look nice. She don't look anything, man. That's nah. I judge you by your looks, man. That last part is so weird because here she looks like so mean. Like just, I don't know, something about her. Like I wouldn't even want to talk to her. Like she's not nice. But then here, just like, that's like a woman that you see just like roaming the street and she's like, oh, I'm out of my mind. This thing right there? Yeah. I don't know, you guys. That thing. You can't tell me. Okay, so anybody that has seen her or was around her, you can't tell me you thought she was okay. And you didn't think she'd do something like that? I mean, that's what people need to pay attention to, not like wait till it goes to that point. It's like at that point, shit. Oh yeah, so in the middle of that, so 2010, but then in the middle of 2016, she went to, they don't have a picture from that. So that she got, what was it? Wait, HPD homicide commander said she was put in emergency detention by HPD. I guess that's a police department there or something. And then the year her son was born. So we do believe that she does. Yeah, but she has mental health problems. So how did she have her kid? Can you guys explain that? Let's pause on the gun thing here for a second. What? How? I can't figure it out. Because typically, if it's like that, they're not supposed to be letting the kids be running off with that thing. Awful. That kid could have been saved, you guys. The kid could have been saved. All they care about is the gun portion. The kid could have been saved, dude, if they actually gave a shit about these kids. I was right. Why is that guy targeting me when I was talking about that? If you cared about the kid, you wouldn't let this woman run with that kid anywhere. And there's room to say this. She had an emergency detention, okay? And a long history. That's what I'm saying. I go, that's crazy, because it's not, it's unexplainable to me right now. I'm trying to figure out. They just jumped over it and they're like, we don't care. How did she get a gun? I'm just like, how did she have a son?